Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. So today we're going to talk about a dynamic duo of old school epic champions in this game, sisters from the Knight Revenant faction. I want to show you guys, the goal of today's video is to show you how much help these two champions on the same team can provide you. Whether we're talking about arena, just strategy, as part of maybe a blender team. I won't be showcasing that, by the way, but I'll talk about how you build them for that. Also crowd control, right? Just how to get ultimate crowd control and progression from these champions, and just how to run them in a nuking comp, and of course, different ways to build them up. So a lot to get to here. Why am I even making this video today? Actually, guys, thanks to these sisters, I just was able to get 63 stars to finish Knight Revenant Crypt. And by the way, I only have 2 more to go here, Demon Spawn and Dwarf. And Dwarf is, so Demon Spawn I can do, I just need to just kind of switch some gear around or level up maybe one more different champion. But Dwarf, man, I'm trying Rockbreaker. I'm trying to build up Rockbreaker. He's my last hope for Dwarf. We'll see what we can do there. But anyway, back to Knight Revenant. Knight Revenant is known as one of the more difficult crypts in the game, and I was finally able to beat it using the builds that I'm going to show you guys with Sinesha and Skullcrown for today's video. I have them in full CC build. So let's go ahead and take a look at both of them. It's a shame that I didn't have the recording of me beating Knight Revenant 21, but I did use Skullcrown Sinesha, Whirlim Frost King. I used Doom Priest and Miscreated Monster. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody, right? And that's it. It took me about 40 tries, and we got it with some RNG. Anyway, with all that said, Skullcrown, a beast of a champion, right? On the A1, attacks all enemies, places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP, is going to be important, and that's how we can really take advantage of the stun set, because it's 2 hits on the A1, especially in the beginning phase of different challenging waves in this game. You guys get it? So full HP on the champions, that's when you really need to be landing those stuns. That's when she's going to be placing 2 hits. So stun set really works well on her. Corrupting Touch, her A2, attacks all enemies. It's a 75% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 2 turns, okay? This Corrupting Touch, definitely way more hard hitting than her A1. Definitely a really good ability as well. Now, the build that we have her in today does not have high accuracy, so she's not landing these weakens a lot, especially in faction wars. But of course, we're going to give you guys plenty of options on how to build her out. Now we're getting 2 revivals, not really. 1 revival and 1 unkillable on this champion, because we do have her paired with Sinesha, so her From Beyond passive will proc. Place an unkillable on Resilient, buff on this champion for 1 turn every time their HP drops below 20%. That's on a 4-turn refresh. It is a passive. And then From Beyond, revives this champion with 30% HP, only available when Sinesha is on the same team and alive, and that is always going to be the case. 6-turn cooldown. And then for masteries on this champion, I do have, and I think this is a pretty typical build for Skullcrown, no matter how you're going to be using her, guys. Going with Flawless Execution, and then going with Retribution, which is really, really valuable on both of these champions, because counterattack is also a powerful AoE attack, attacking all enemies off their A1. So Retribution on the defense tree makes a lot of sense on both of these champions. 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy hit. And luckily, it's not even going to be killing Skullcrown, because she's going to be putting up that unkillable as well. So definitely a lot of inherent value and synergy with Retribution in Skullcrown's kit, and also Sinesha. So in terms of how we have her built out, now, if you're going for a straight up nuke build, you're not going to be doing what I'm doing, right? I mean, the ideal set for her is Savage, right? Savage gear with Flawless Execution Mastery, and then just stacking as much crit damage as humanly possible and as much attack on these champions is usually the way to go. I see some people even build Skullcrown with attack percentage on her boots. However, again, I want some stuns out of her, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not the type of person who puts attack boots on my champions anyway, unless I just have the most god tier of god tier gear on them, and I'm able to get their speed up to around, 140, 160, and that's just not the case, at least not for this video. So anyway, I want them going often because I want them stunning a lot, okay? So I do have speed boots on both of these champions. I do have a stun set. I was able to get crit damage gauntlets on both of these champions, with crit rate being the main substat I'm looking for here on all of the other gear on these champions. You can see I got really lucky with a triple roll crit rate on the stun helmet here, and then, a single roll here on the 10%, and basically, again, that's all I'm really looking for here. Even over attack percentage, I'm really looking for a crit rate. Now, I can get by with putting Skullcrown in an attack percentage chest, only because she has the unkillable and the revival, right? Otherwise, I'd probably err on the side of caution and put her in a defense or an HP chest because, her HP is very, very low at 14k, and her defense is pretty low too at 826. So in terms of her accessories, you'll see I did opt to put HP on her ring, and I put HP on her banner. Now, for dungeons or for nuke builds, you definitely want to go either attack on the banner, or if you're looking to land those weakens, put accuracy on the banner. So again, you really have some flexibility, but this is what you guys need to be thinking about whenever you build any champion. Okay, what is their use going to be? Are they going to be for Faction Wars 21, the most difficult area in the game right now? If that's the case, then you're going to need to add some flat stat HP, and the best place to get it is going to be your banner, okay? So just think about these things, and of course I'm still looking for attack percentage as a substat on the ring, so this is the reason that her total stats here on Skullcrown are going to be 36k HP, which still isn't high, but it's almost 2k defense, 36k HP with the 2 revives in her kit. I'm able to get away with it. Very low on the accuracy though. Again, so I would totally switch this up and try to aim for 4,000 plus attack, 5,000 plus attack, depending on where you can get with your gear, if she was going to be a flat out nuker, and obviously I wouldn't have her in a stun set. She's a little bit low on the crit rate, 94, ideally 100%, but crit damage is nice and high at 234. Of course, it could be higher if I didn't have her in stun gear. So, Sinesha, in which you guys see these ladies in action. I'm going to just take them on a dragon run with an all-rare free-to-play team and just show you how much they can carry in terms of support and CC. People know these two champions as damage dealers, as kind of nukers in support on Sinesha, but I wanted to show you this video because I wanted to show you that you can get more out of these champions too if you think a little bit outside the box in terms of gearing them out. So Sinesha, on the A1, Burning Wave attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP. So you're going to be landing 2 hits on the AoE with the stun on the second half of the waves when they're below 50% HP. Vaporize on the A2 is a heal. It's a attack one enemy, puts the target skills on cooldown, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 25%. Very important to, get utility out of her 2 healing abilities. She's a great support champion, great healing champion for you as well. And Sinesha is a really a champion that I built out semi-recently, even though I've had her for a long time, and I have a lot of respect for what she brings to the table. One of those champions that you max out, you're not sure if you're going to like her or not, and I was actually really pleased with what she brought to the table, especially in Faction Wars, being my main healer on the team. So this one, again, I have accuracy very low on this champion, so I'm not putting my target skills on cooldowns. Definitely have to choose when you're putting stun gear on your champions, because odds are you don't have a ton of really good stun gear. Immortality equalizes the HP of all allies. The HP levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP, then heals the target ally, by 10% of their max HP. It's a really, really strong AoE heal. It can basically full heal almost all of your champions. So immortality is a skill that you want to be very careful using because it is on a 5-turn cooldown. Make sure you're not caught without it when you really need it. Aura is ally HP and faction crit by 31%. Obviously, I did use that. In Masteries, again, we did go with Retribution. And on my Sinesha, guys, instead of going with Flawless Execution, I actually went with Fearsome Presence, taking that stun chance from her artifact set to 18 to 23%. So that's how I have these champions built. Really quickly, take a look at our artifacts here. Again, I went probably support here. Yeah, HP on the ring, crit damage on both of the amulets on both these champions, and HP on the banner as well. So I'm trying to get that extra HP, trying to keep them alive here. A little bit of a different than a nuking build. Again, if I'm just building her as a nuker and healer, I'm looking probably to get that accuracy a little bit higher so she lands that debuff, reset targets cooldown skills on her A2, and of course I'm trying to get her crit damage up a little bit higher along with with her attack. Even though she has very low base attack, she has a decent multiplier on that A1 and A2, so you can hit decently hard. Not Skullcrown hard, but hard. All right, crit damage on the gauntlets, HP on the chest, speed on the boots, and that's pretty much it, right? Trying to look for some crit rate where I can find it. And again, I got pretty decent gear here for the some of my better stun sets on this champion, but it's okay. If you don't have this great of stun set gear, just put crit rate on the gauntlets. It's okay because they're still not going to be the main damage dealers, and I forgot Faceless on my Knight Revenant team. He was my main damage dealer on the squad. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take them for a spin. These ladies can be effective pretty much anywhere in the game, whether it's spiders, faction wars, arena, definitely in dungeons, right? I guess clan boss, you don't really see them much, but let's go ahead and take them for a quick spin. Arena, just a side note on arena, I'll show you against like an easy team. I'm really low right now because reset day, but let me just show you both these ladies. It's not a blender team because I don't have Lanicus or Longbeard or anything like that, but you'll see how I don't think I'll even need really much. I might just one-shot him, but basically how it works is you can just kind of... She's probably just going to kill everybody. I'm just going to use the A1 so we don't kill everybody, but we land 3 stuns there. 3 stuns on that A1. I mean, really effective. And then Sinesha's going to come up. She's going to do her A1, and boom, kills 3 of them. And that's pretty much all she wrote. But, you know, again, a blender team is when you take a champion that has an ally attacked auto skill, and you put these, especially on defense, very effective, and you just basically auto it, and they're going to join in using their A1s. It's going to be 2 big, strong AoE attacks along with whatever champion else is joining them, and it can be really, really effective strategy. You see that all the time in Gold 4 and Platinum tier arena. Let's go ahead, although people are building shield sets to prevent those type of arena teams, so you're seeing it a little bit maybe less frequently as you did 6 months ago inside the game. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you, as I mentioned, what these 2 sisters can do together in Dragon 20. We have Kale, Apothecary, and we have War Maiden for defense down, Kale for the poisons, and Apothecary for the spot heal. And that's it. That's the whole team, right? We're just sticking them with 3 of the easiest champions to get. I guess Apothecary not super easy, but you can see already landing 2 stuns here. And how are we keeping everybody alive here? Well, we have 2 healers, Sinesha and Apothecary, but more importantly, we have all these stuns going down and all these AoE attacks. Really, really effective strategy to put 2 AoE champions. Heck, you might not even have Skullcrown and Sinesha, even though you're watching the video. But look at, I mean, they're staying stunned. You can put a Bellower in a stun set, replacing either of these champions. And we get to the dragon. If we lose Skullcrown, no big deal. She's going to proc that unkillable, and then she's going to revive. It's really not a risky run, and it's a 100% success rate run, even if we do end up losing Kale or War Maiden against the dragon. Kale does get targeted, low HP, but usually Apothecary can keep him alive with the spot heals. Even if he doesn't, not a big deal, because you can see less than a minute, and I should mention too, Sinesha and Skullcrown, I've showed you guys this in previous videos, but Sinesha and Skullcrown's gear is way better than my 3 rare champions. My 3 rare champions do have 5 and 6 star gear, but it's mostly just rare, epic gear, just kind of whatever, right? Whatever I had left over, because I don't normally use these champions outside of showing you guys videos like this. So this is where Kale starts to really shine, landing all those poisons, and also War Maiden has a weak poison on her A1, and even with that strong AoE nuke, even with all these poisons, Sinesha with that heal on the A3, able to keep everybody alive, and Apothecary helping out with the spot heals. And again, we might lose War Maiden here, but it's not the end of the world. And again, the dragon after that attack is going to go into her big, like, you know, stance and stuff, so it's going to buy us extra time to be able to cycle, back to those heals and get everybody healed up before the next AoE attack. So Vaporize goes in, Corrupting Touch, and there it is. The dragon goes up, giving us time to get that AoE A3 from Sinesha and get everybody back up to close to full health. And then hopefully these poisons will land and take the dragon below that threshold. Let's see. And it didn't, I don't think, or maybe it did. It doesn't matter either way. Everybody's going to stay alive. And again, every time that Vaporize or A2 Sinesha goes down, we're looking pretty good because we get that fresh heal on the ally with the lowest HP. And you guys can already see this one is over in 218. And again here, Kale puts out the most damage by far because we don't have Sinesha and Skullcrown. As you guys can see, Apothecary, not even 100,000. You can see Skullcrown and Sinesha, I mean, they did a lot of damage because of all those AoEs, but Warmane and Kale out-damaged them. And that was one of the points of this video, guys, is to kind of give you an idea of how to utilize these two big nuker champions in different ways that will help you with progression in the game, or help you just kind of build a team around a very powerful tandem like this with the extra crowd control of the stun set. Don't need to have a stun set. I'm sure we may have been effective with like all Savage gear on both of these champions, but there's a chance that, you know, the enemies do kill one or two of us on those earlier waves, and without that crowd control, we're not able to progress as we otherwise would have. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you want to see another tandem in action, let me know in the comments below, and as always, take care, guys.